Shirish is basically graduated in 1974 from the famous institute CEPT, Center for Environmental Planning and Technology, Ahmedabad. His works in this field actually are, he has designed number of campuses for national and regional level institutions for research, rehabilitation, healthcare and education, along with various other types of buildings. They have been widely published in over 150 publications in India and abroad. His works have also won him a number of national as well as international recognitions, such as J.K. Great Masters Award, awarded to one senior architect from 12 countries once in 3 years. He was also awarded Baburam Hatre Gold Medal, the highest award for a professional architect in India by the Indian Institute of Architects. The highly coveted Arcacia Gold Medal twice for the best designed building in Asia was also awarded to him. He has been invited many times to make presentations as well as jury during the national and international events. He has also written a couple of books on his works, and 2 films on his life and work have been received very well all over the world. He has started his own CSR. He doesn't call corporate social responsibility. He very rightly calls it as a conscientious social responsibility activities under the name Humane Equity and Dignity Fund. And he works in the field of tree plantation, construction of toilets for the poor, community spaces, activities to enhance education, health, help during natural calamities, pandemics and so on. His works in this field actually tend to reflect his values in life and addresses his life concerns. In fact, our friend Dilip Kulkarni had been to his house in Kolhapur a couple of months back, and then Dilip Kulkarni telephoned me and he says he met Shirish Beri ji at Kolhapur, and he is also on the similar lines on what we are discussing and talking for years together. He gave me his phone number and immediately I contacted Shirish ji and he immediately agreed for the podcast. Today he is going to talk on true sustainability is an attitude, a way of life. Over to Shirish Beri.
Namaste everybody, and it's a pleasure to be here and also to hear about the various activities being carried out by Vivekananda Kendra, NARDEP, the today, I would be talking about some of my life and how sustainability plays an important role in it. To me, the basic standpoint that we take towards life and universe is what tends to decide what most of our thinking and actions in life. I would like to share the screen. With our present attitude and standpoint in life, which is very anthropocentric, with man as the center, where we feel that everything on this earth is made for our consumption, our exploitation, and it is a selfish. What we see around is this selfish, excessive greed, overconsumption, exploitation of nature, pollution, social injustice, and violence. See this, even it carries forward in social injustice also. We have 13 floors reserved for car parking, and the guy in front of on the across the road sleeps like this. And all this finally culminates into violence and wars, where actually all these boundaries are man-made, as you see in the first picture. This is what I was talking about. The kind of selfish greed, excessive greed and consumption that we see around us, the exploitation of nature, pollution, social injustice. When I talked about this 13th floor car parking and that guy sleeping on the road, and violence. So, now this is a pause slide, so it will be blank. Don't worry. So during my wanderings and search in life, my understandings have nurtured a universe-centric standpoint in me, where I feel myself as an integral, indivisible, minuscule part of this wonderful fullness and oneness of life. Similar to this beautiful Shanti in the Ishavasya Upanishad. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, with this attitude, one experiences a spontaneous restraint and simplicity arising out of contentment that springs out of this feeling of oneness and wholeness in life, or fullness of and oneness with life. This also brings about that lovely empathy and, and compassion for all. This to me is true sustainability. Thus, today, I shall take you quickly on my life journey that has evolved out of my feeling of oneness and everything around me. Actually, just after my graduation, my father called me to his room and he said, take this money, and I kept this money, and you can go abroad to Harvard or MIT where we had a recognition, SEPT had recognition, and he said you can go abroad and do your masters because my brother had just come back from the US after his master's in structures. But then I said, let me think about it. And when I thought about it, I decided not to go for two reasons. One is I thought that this degree, master's degree there, would keep me away from uh, my connection or my closeness to nature, my solitary life, and my simple life. I mean, I basically these are the three things which I strived for, or which I wanted to do, is to live a simple, solitary, sustainable life amidst nature, and this may not would not be possible then. Second reason for saying no to my father was uh, I felt that in architecture, after a certain stage, unlearning is more important rather than more formal academic training. So I told him that I will not go abroad, but you give me the money. He said, what are you going to do with the money? So with that money, I decided to build a small cottage at the edge of the mountains on the at the edge of the Sahyadris, and started living there. And where I could spend as an architect, it's possible for me to spend a lot of time like this in solitude and in creative working and amidst nature. So this is the area that I chose. I just go back again just for a quick this thing. I was talking about this excessive greed and excessive overconsumption, exploitation of nature, pollution, inequity in the society, violence, all that we talked. Then we talked about that during my wanderings, my understandings have nurtured a universal-centric standpoint in me, which you heard. I recited the Ishavasya Upanishad Shanti.
Yes.
Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, so good. And then I talked about that how a spontaneous restraint and simplicity happens, or contentment happens, because of this feeling of oneness and fullness with life. And then I talked about my father sort of giving me the money to go abroad and do my masters, and I refused that, and instead of that I chose this site on the Western Ghats at the top of the mountains, and built a small cottage there. So this was my house. Can you see?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh. So now it's clear, no? So full screen. Huh. So this was the cottage that I built from the 15,000 rupees that I received from my father, because that was the airfare that time in 1973. and I built this in 74. So sustainability, and this was the place below for my living and dining, and sometimes we slept here also. And so sustainability has been a way of life for me since my early years, much before it became a overused fad word. Since then, I've always lived and worked in at my various simple, inexpensive, sustainable retreats amidst the silent energy of nature, away from the greedy, non-sustainable rat race in the society. Uh, this was in the rainy season. I never had a bath in my bathroom. Also, I used to go and sit under the waterfalls. I shared the space in my house with the monitor lizard, with the chameleon, and with the panther, because the panther used to sometimes come and have his shikar, eat his shikar in that lower portion of my house, which we just saw. Since then, I've lived like this. Actually, even we tried I got 5 acres of space in Konkan where we tried on an experiment in creating a sustainable balanced ecosystem through the efficient recycling of the prevalent biochemical resources and energies on the land. This was the our house in Konkan, 5 acres of land. There is beautiful tall mango trees below which we built the house. This was the our living cum dining space where the trees have become a part of the family now. I even experimented in living with two pair pieces of cloth on the farm, and unstitched, no stitching, no shirt or pant, just two pieces, one to cover the top portion of the body and one to cover below the waist. This was very versatile because I could, when it was sunny, I could use it as a I could shade protect myself like this. I could collect lime and fruits from the garden, or I could spread the sheet below and sit on it. Also, we also experimented with different kinds of food and a different way of eating. We had a small swimming pool which we built in 2,500 rupees. Then we had a stream next to our property, so this is where I could have my bath and be as close to nature as possible. It was very refreshing, very rejuvenating life that we led. These were the various creatures that we shared our uh, space with. Unfortunately, my wife stepped on the Russell's viper once and was bitten, but that's another big long story. Then we also later we moved on to, because of my fascination for the sea, we got a small piece of land on the seashore and built a small house there. All these are very inexpensive and very sustainable. Uh, this is the house, and there were these existing casuarina trees and so many other different kinds of trees here. So we built the house in such a way that we could enter the house in the portal of these casuarina trees, like this. Like these are the trees I've seen from the main entrance door of the house. So whenever I came, I would sort of touch both the trees with both my hands, say hello to them, and whenever I left the house, I would say bye bye to them. This was the tree I seen from inside the house. And this is the space we shared the space with this white-breasted sea eagle, fishing eagle. We could see the dolphins frolicking in the sea, and we had this fantastic phenomenon of phosphorescence, which was visible in the sea. Today, now, and where Mr. Dilip Kulkarni had also come for a short while, um, we we live in this house on the side of the lake, Andur Lake. That's the house, and here also it's been very beautiful. That's the upper portion, my studio, the bathroom, and the space is shared with all these. The monitor lizard is still there. Comes inside the house sometimes. So the only big energy intensive house that I we lived in for a few years was the city house that we inherited from my parents. But it was still better than constructing a new one. But after living there for a few years, we decided to move out for a number of reasons. We decided to move out firstly because that area was getting more and more congested, polluted. So we wanted to move on towards the outskirts of the city. Secondly, the house was too big, very energy intensive, and not very eco friendly. And thirdly, I felt that if I sell that house, because that house was in a prime area in the city, if I sell that house and I sold it to my brother and nephew, I thought that the money that I would get from the sale can be used in a better way for better causes through my Human Equity and Dignity Fund. And with this, and thirdly, uh, um, and another thing which we wanted to do. So instead of sorry, so instead of increasing the inequity in the society by constructing a huge, expensive house, we constructed a much smaller, compact, eco-friendly house from recycled, discarded materials on the outskirts of Kolhapur in 2014. If you see this house, this is how this plot was almost there was a level difference of almost 12 to 15 feet, which we used to create a large rainwater harvesting tank here, and also a quarter for our domestic servant. So they stay there with us. And not a single tile on this house is new. Not a single tile which you see here on the pathway is new. All these are recycled. They are salvaged from the old houses that are being demolished. The water from this rooftop collects in this gutter, and it goes down into the large rainwater harvesting tank. We have a different rainwater harvesting tank for drinking water, so which lasts us till this June. So we are still drinking last year's drinking water. All these old bricks, old Mangalore tiles, old windows which were used directly. Then tor steel pieces, waste tor steel pieces which we get on the sides were used to make the entire fencing and the gate. The pillar slab was done with discarded bamboos or with uh, waste pieces of PVC pipes. Old wood was used. Not a single new tree was cut for me for our house. All the steel that we use for the house, for the structure, and for the reinforcement here was obtained from the scrap market. And this was the house, the entrance to the house. This entrance to the house. This is a stone which is at the entrance of the house here, near the Ganesha, where my wife Mansi does the rangoli every day to welcome the new day as well as to welcome the new guests. That's the bathroom. Here also, if you notice that this is the initial stages. Now the plants have grown very big, and we have edible palm creepers coming in, beetle leaf. So we can take every evening we plug them for our pan after dinner. You will notice that there are 8 different types of tiles which are used, because we would go to these tile walas and ask them what are the tiles which they don't want, which are damaged or which were broken, and we collected all those tiles and used them here in a special design. So our rapport with life and the inspiration that we derive from it becomes the source uh, of all creativity, meaningful innovation, and all the choices that we make in life. So, giving you an example, like suppose we have each one of us had a crore of rupees at our disposal, 1 million rupees at our disposal. Some people would put them in bank savings and mutual funds, some in pension schemes, insurance. Somebody may construct a large house with that 1 crore rupees. Nowadays, with 1 crore rupees, you may not get a very large house. You can get, some people may go in for a fancy car, exotic vacations. Some people would like to gamble them away in casinos, or in sort of trying to get more money through gambling. There are there are some people who have used that money to buy so much gold. I don't know what they do. It appears so vulgar, but they've covered themselves totally with gold, and in the name of God. Again, Ganesh is there. And or some people would use like these. This is the time when 2000 rupee notes were prevalent. So a garland of 1 crore rupees with 2000 rupee notes, currency notes, was made for this politician. But we thought differently. I thought differently. I thought that I should use that money, that 10 million, that 1 crore rupees fund, for the needy people, or for the needy environment, uh, or for poor people who don't have money for education, health, and also for research. So this is a very interesting slide that we I saw how to bring about empathy in life. We just have to cut on this dotted line and rotate it 180 degrees. So when me becomes we, uh, the empathy happens with it, because then we start looking at everything as an extension of our own self. So through this fund, we planted thousands of trees, which have grown big. This photograph is almost 4 years old. Now these trees are much bigger. We would help the people during in their floods, and during COVID, and during the floods or earthquakes. Simple gestures like giving a glass tile for this roof brings in so much light inside the same room. Riot victims, then even for in blankets for the poor. This is a photograph of the Kolhapur Civil Hospital, the government hospital, where the patients' relatives and friends had no other place but to wait outside like this on the top of an underground water tank. This is a big underground water tank. So they're sitting out here in the sun, in the rain. Look at them lying down here. It is below human dignity to have something like this. So we felt very bad. So I designed and we constructed this uh, shelter. We call it Nivara for them. And immediately after, 1 hour after the inauguration, the whole place was full of these relatives that we were. They sleep on the floor in the night. We made a poem for them, put a Ganesha here, and we have plug recharging points for the mobile, a wash tub for their to wash their hands. Similarly, in a nearby school, there were no toilets for the girls. The boys' toilets were so bad. So out of that compassion that comes out, because I don't consider that I'm doing something for them, but I feel that they are part of me. These people, the girls there, the lady teachers there. So I feel bad, and then I feel, so we designed and constructed these toilets for them. These are the toilets that are being constructed in the slums, individual toilets in the slums, slum areas. There's a neglected open space in the city which was used for antisocial things below the water tank and all that, which we converted into a more, interactive public space for children as well as the seniors. Recently, about 77 families from a very derelict slum were rehabilitated in this building through this PM Awas Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. So somebody else worked on those housing, but I decided to give these people a community hall. So we designed and constructed this community hall for the uh, rehabilitated slum dwellers, which also has an amphitheater here. And this hall also becomes a stage. And the slum dwellers were so happy that even before the inauguration, they started using it. So this is what brings happiness to me, not to, I mean, that where this is an attempt to take the sustainability thinking beyond architecture to the nature and to society and to the social sustainability. I think that is also very important. So, as you see, my sustainability journey started with myself, my family, and with my houses. It was born from my basic attitude to life, with me as its integral, indivisible, minuscule constituent. But on the architectural projects, these are some of my guiding principles for sustainable design. I feel it is very important to have that respect, empathy, and caring concern for all living and non living resources and spaces. So that is why when I was asked to design a laboratory for the conservation of endangered species by the government of India in Hyderabad, I saw these beautiful rocks on the side. I fell in love with them, and but they were at the edge of the side. So we gave the farmers. We took the undulating land from the farmers and gave the farmers a flat piece of better piece of land here. So they were happy, and I was happy because I could build a building that became a tribute to this million-year-old natural heritage. Soon, the courtyard inside was being used very beautifully by the people here. In this case, it was a residential school campus that had to be designed, and there were many trees on the side. But there was a tree, a ficus tree, banyan tree, a small banyan tree, which I liked very much, and I made that the focal point of my learning and living cluster, where these primary school kids have their classrooms and hostels. When I went there to talk to the teachers as to how they feel about there and how the students talk to the students, the teachers told me that the students are very happy here and all that. But one thing which she told me struck a chord in me. She said that these kids, fifth, fourth standard kids or so, they were asked to write an essay on my best friend. And most of the kids wrote an essay on this tree as their best friend. Now look what architecture can do, what space can do. Now these kids, when they grow up, they will hesitate to cut a tree because of the rapport and the relationship that they have established with this tree in their formative years. This is also part of sustainability and how to create that awareness, create that respect, create that reverence for nature. There's another site in Nagpur where it was a 12-acre farm, and uh, the owner wanted me to build a house for him there. There also, they wanted me to build somewhere else. But when I saw this banyan tree, I again fell in love with it. I sat under it and took the tree's permission to build around it. And now that tree has become a part of the family here, and it has had tremendous impact of soothing and healing impact on the residents. This this was what we talked about by Devgarh Beach House, where these two trees also became a part of the spatio-temporal, space making. This is the our toilet in at the lake house, where the trees, the plants, the sunlight, the moonlight, the rain, everything is allowed inside. The second thing, the most important thing, to for towards sustainability is to reduce consumption and consumerism by leading a very simple lifestyle. Look at this living room now. It is totally air conditioned. It is no hardly any windows. During the day also the artificial lights and air conditioning is on. Tremendous amount of carving and very expensive, very expensive, and this thing. Now compare this to my living room at the lake house now. So if you come to the lake house, and if you're sitting here and I'm sitting here, I would be in the living room with you. If I feel hungry, I would just turn around, put myself at the dining table and eat something. After food, I can just lie down here and have my siesta. So things can be very simple. Life, we complicate life so much. Look at this bedroom. How much, what carbon footprint it would have had. See the carpet, the paneling, the false ceiling, so many lights, so much glass. And this is my our bedroom at the lake house. Beautiful view of the lake, beautiful natural breeze coming in. These things are these small, simple daily decisions in our daily lives are very important in taking us closer to true sustainability, our lifestyle. This was at our beach house at Devgarh, where uh, this we are talking about right now, minimizing the simplicity, but actually this should come in the embodied energy section. But where that same space is being used as a living room, we bring the cushions together. This becomes a dining space. In the we have some guests in the night. The table is taken out, kept here. The bolsters are removed. The cushions are joined, and it becomes a bedroom in the night. So this reduces the embodied energy, because instead of making three different rooms, living room, dining room, and bedroom, we the same space can be multifunctional. This is what is seen in most houses, most middle class houses also. I counted the tubes. This is one toilet, more than 50 cosmetic tubes, and you know. Uh, consumerism, the way it is happening. Some are half used, some are yet to be opened, some are open. And this is our wash basin, where actually this powder also is not there all the time, only in summer. And I don't think it has made much of a difference to the uh, to the skin, the quality of skin of the users in both the places. Office. Now, this is how I have worked for the past many years. Millions and millions of square feet of the buildings have been designed by sitting like this. This was at my beach house, where I could see the sunset and the uh, sea from here, the rocks and the sea from here. We, as an architect, it's possible for us to do so. I would do my basic designing and things here, then go back to the city where the staff would be there, where my associates would be there, and share the designs with them, and they would further work on the drawings and all that. So even when I'm sitting here, there are about 30, 20, 30, 40 people working on my designs in the city in a different way after my basic work is done, basic designing is done. The um, the other which we talked about, minimize embodied energy by minimizing the built up area by efficient planning circulation is the first thing. Secondly, by using old discarded recycled materials, like our house in Kolhapur, you'll see the flooring is made from uh, p- pieces of tiles. Some are big, some are very small. So whatever pieces we got from the uh, scrapyard, tile wala scrapyard we used. Even the false ceiling here is made from packaging wood. The furniture is from bamboo. This is what we saw earlier. In this house, the house with the banyan tree also, what we have done is we haven't used a single stone from outside the site. Whatever we got during the excavation, we have used here for making the house. So the embodied energy of the house, which is spent in transportation, packaging, and this and that, is saved. That's why I hardly use any imported materials in my buildings, because the embodied energy of any imported material is very high. Even in this complex, this is a Zapurza, this is a museum of art and culture near Pune. And here also, all these stones are. We got these stones from the site itself. We have not imported a single stone from outside. This is the Hyderabad project with those big rocks. Here also, during the excavation, we got these boulders which were broken into small pieces and which were used to construct the walls. They were not used. They were used not only to construct the walls but also to make gravel for the road and to construct the compound wall, and all that. So this is another thing. Another way in which we can reduce the embodied energy is if we use local materials. Like this material is available within a few kilometers of this site. So laterite. This is our beach house. This is another house in Ratnagiri which I've done. So I try to use local materials as much as possible. And this is, I'm sorry for this repetition of this slide, but here again, the embodied energy is saved by uh, having a multiple use of the same space. Fourth thing is, I think, minimize the end use energy. How can we minimize the end use energy? We can do that by designing for good natural light and ventilation. Then by resorting to passive cooling and heating with plantations, water bodies, etc. Then end-use energy can be minimized if we avoid use of too many light fittings and gadgets like air conditioners and this and that. We can definitely minimize that end-use energy. Then another thing is if we can increase our tolerance and adjustment level, then also it can help. Like, see, this is a hospital which is almost 500,000, 5 lakh square feet, more than 5 lakh square feet in area. But if you see this big space, not a single artificial light is on. Not a single light is on. The entire area is lit by natural light and natural ventilation. There's no air conditioning here also. This is another hospital in Kolhapur, where the atrium lobby doesn't have any air conditioning, no artificial light during the day, but good natural light. Mm, sorry. Uh, uh, this is the courtyard of a medical college building, which is also skylit and natural ventilation, no artificial lights on. This is another institute for agricultural sciences. Another house with a courtyard, a maxillofacial hospital here. Then this is we have no walls here for the house, our lake house. This is our living room, and that's the view which we get. So if we can tolerate a few insects sometimes, they're not really a problem. Or if we can tolerate some rain coming on this edge only in this much more area, then if we increase our tolerance, we could even have houses like this in India. I mean, I don't have anything to be stolen, so burglars are not an issue here. Or if we make use of the existing plantation or do the right plantation in the right places near and around the building, we can change the microclimate uh, considerably and make it more and more comfortable. Like this creeper, I mean, this is called a curtain creeper, but it acts as a curtain. It does screen and shade the house from the sun. This is campus for management development in Mysore, where we have used the natural stones available there, and we have created a pergola. So instead of walking in a RCC slab passage, people, students, faculty, they walk under this beautiful canopy. Again, we're talking about this tolerance and you know adjustment. Like this is our house in Kolhapur, and this is our bed in the rainy season, and in winter we sleep inside here. Later on, we started sleeping here also in the summer. And now in summer, when the temperatures are go to about 40 degrees here in Kolhapur, we sleep on the terrace with this mosquito net, and it is very comfortable. And mornings are about 21 degrees, 22 degrees centigrade. It is not that I can't afford an air conditioner. I can afford to air condition the full house if I want. But it's a matter of choice. It's voluntary simplicity which is not forced. But you arrive at this voluntary simplicity when you come closer to the true essence of life, to the true meaning of life. So increase in the use of renewable energy like solar heating, solar electricity generation, solar cooking, rainwater harvesting, wind energy wherever possible, sewage treatment plants to create soil manure and recycle water. This is something which we tend to do on most of our projects. This is at the house in Kolhapur. This is the large rainwater harvesting tank. This is the drinking water harvesting tank with its own filter. And this is the solar panel. Now we have bigger solar panels for 2 kilowatts and solar heating. We have solar cookers also. Solar cooker, then garbage composting. I mean, green composting. Even the house becomes a garden also, and it that thereby it cools the keeps the house cool, as well as it gives us food because of the bean creeper that grows here. So today, unfortunately, sustainability has become such an overused, misused, bad word that it is looked upon as an add-on feature instead of an intrinsic one. Creating a huge 2,000 square meter luxury, that is 20,000 square feet luxury mansion for 5 persons, and calling it sustainable by adding some of the prescribed sustainable features is a cruel joke. I somehow feel guilty in designing such lavish, extravagant, non sustainable buildings, which is why I have refused to design uh, many such clients who wanted me to design these big houses. Designing a large energy guzzling resort or office and getting sustainability rating points by reducing the air conditioning load by 10% to get some gold or platinum rating certificate has become a trend, rather a gimmick. Till today, I have not applied for any green building sustainability rating for any of my buildings. Similarly, organizing a symposium on sustainability, I have experienced this. Similarly, organizing a symposium on sustainability in an extremely non sustainable, overconsumptive five-star hotel or resort with speakers and delegates flying in from far off places also appears so ironical and contradictory to the purpose. Many a times, architecture is looked upon as a standalone, isolated phenomena, when in reality, it is a part and parcel of our daily life, our aspirations, life values, and our spatio-temporal bearings. It decides the quality of our living working space, which is one of the Panchamahabhutas, or the building blocks of life. Thus, it has to function in collaboration with so many other disciplines and professionals, directly or indirectly. There's a Finnish architect, Juhani Palasma, a very sensitive architect. He puts it very beautifully. He says, the ultimate meaning of any building is beyond architecture. Significant architecture has to be life enhancing. So I would ask all architects, especially the younger generation of architects, to connect their designs to life, address their life concerns through their architecture. I try to address my life concerns of today's man moving away from nature and his fellow humans and his own self through my work. Thus, in all my works, I attempt to bring him closer to nature, to other people, by creative, conducive, open, interactive spaces, and to himself. through spaces that create a pause and silence amidst today's commotion and noise. Secondly, I think they should pause and introspect daily to connect to their life's true values and understandings. They will then realize the full meaning of what architect Samuel Mockbee says. As architects, our goodness is more important than our greatness, and our compassion more eventful than our passion. Thirdly, I would urge them not to confuse a good life with the number of goods they possess. Both are very different. I had read a very beautiful book called The Waste Makers by Vance Packard in my 20s, in which he dedicates that book to his parents. He says, I dedicate this book to my parents who did not confuse a good life with the number of goods they had. True sustainable design happens as a result of a unified, holistic, and compassionate attitude to life. Attitudes of simplicity, empathy, and caring concern for Mother Earth and for the present and future of all species, living and non living. So, when we experience ourselves as this fascinating universal energy, we drown in its intrinsic goodness, and then sound becomes music, colors become a painting, words become a painting, words become poetry, movement becomes dance, the formless becomes a form, mind becomes meditation, and life becomes a celebration. Thanks very much. Thank you very much. Dilip?
Thank you, Shiriji, for a very nice and educative podcast. Over to Madan. Now you can ask others for questions if they have any.
Thank you, sir. It
Can you
has
please
been
can you please put on your video as well as the mic so I can see you?
yeah. Am I visible, sir?
No.
Is that now okay?
Ah, yes, yes.
Yeah. I am Madan Kumar, being in the Kendra for a decade and now working for Dan Foundation as such.
Okay.
And in fact, we as people who have been working using the Larry Baker's technology for using the Prime Minister Awas Yojana, where in which we construct houses at 954 rupees per square feet and 1000 rupees per square feet, enabling the poor to house themselves in addressing the shelter insecurity needs. But it has been an eye opener that agent itself, a catalytic agent, showing the ways in which a single room can be converted into multiple uses. And the way of life, the perspective in which the principles have been rooted as really shaping the whole thing.
Yes.
In fact, I also have been seeing many architects during our interactions, but somehow or other they have been borrowed or influenced by the regular things which the market demands.
Yes.
But here is a man, we could see the things in a different light and a different perspective, where you ask for a coping up or an adjustment perspective. That is something really great. And where if once the mindset is towards that, and really, as you rightly put it, the beliefs that matters the
Yeah.
whole architecture things, sir.
Yes.
So we have been doing our work for the poor communities and been constructing houses. One is through access to finance. Second is materials and supplies at cheaper rates for them with the sourcing from the best of the corporates at very lesser rates and also from the scrap parts of it. And third thing is of constructing and demonstrating them as such. So that has been our endeavor. Vivekananda Kendra Nagab, as you would be knowing it, also has done the similar way in which we have housed our Kalvilai Resource Center in that perspective, housing all the sustainable technologies which are possible. But as you rightly put it, seeing the local areas and using that, in fact, still it echoes us that tree which is there, how it has become a best friend, which you have put it, has been a very interesting thing, sir. Yeah. So, in fact, a lot of my colleagues who have been in this working group would love to ask questions and get your insights, sir. Over to my group members for the reflections and seeking the reflections from our speaker. Thank you.
Thank
Over
you.
to the friends as you.
Beri sir, I've completely. Beri sir, I've completely spellbound by your talk today. I am a mechanical engineer with 40 years of experience, and my core competency is in central air conditioning, ventilation,
Okay.
refrigeration. But unfortunately, whatever my prime years, I worked in 80s and 90s. This concept of sustainability was not so common in those days, and we happened to, whatever should not be done, the way you were talking about the hotels and the public spaces and all that, we were doing that, and we were designing the air conditioning systems for quite a lot of energy use, etc.
Yes.
So now I feel that even if I get some chance to get associated with people, elite people like you, at least I will have some this thing consolation that I'm doing some justice to whatever bit the education I have got. One thing which I wanted to ask you, are using one space for multiple use. I have read somewhere that by moving walls, by sliding walls, they are also achieving this concept, this use of one space for
Yes.
multiple use. Have you used that kind of concept in your design?
My own house here, the walls are not moving, but I have sliding folding doors. So, like from the dining to our guest bedroom, where my mother-in-law used to stay.
Yes.
And she used to be alone. I mean, she was old and she was like kind of bedridden.
Yes.
So, whenever we opened out the full door, I mean, she didn't feel that she was in a isolation.
Correct.
He became part of the house, part of the family. And whenever she wanted privacy, the doors could be closed.
Yeah.
So it is possible that way. Yes, and many Japanese houses have that.
Have that concept.
system.
Yes. Another one concept. I don't know whether it is really sustainable in a way, but that is now common in some of these advanced Middle East countries. Is the every floor rotates. You can rotate it in any angle.
Why?
Individually.
Why do you want to rotate?
To get one is to get a different view. I mean, outside view. That is one thing. Second thing is, by changing the directions of certain, you can reduce the air conditioning load. That is another this thing, and maybe some maybe it's a bit of a fancy also.
Yeah.
That okay, you are staying in a rotating. But I just wanted to just mention it. I mean, whether
Yes.
we like to see whether it really can fit into the sustainable kind
No,
of.
I don't think it is very
I agree with you.
sustainable,
Yes.
and it requires too much energy and too much
energy. Yes. Yes, and even services.
And if you want a different view, you can go out on the terrace or go out and on the upper level and see it also. Now, man wants everything ready-made in it.
Yes, lazy kind of attitude. Yes. So my only request is if I can get some opportunity to interact with you in near future,
Yes.
I will be obliged and I will consider myself
Where
very
do
lucky.
you stay, Mr. Jagdish?
I stay in Thane, Mumbai, sir. Thane.
Okay, Thane, okay.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I had come to Thane also for a couple of talks.
Okay.
One for the Indian Institute of Architects in that auditorium or something like that.
Okay.
And before that, I have a friend there who conducts these Ved talks, Anand Nadkarni.
Okay.
He's a psychiatrist, no?
Yeah. He's a very famous psychiatrist.
So Anand Nadkarni had interviewed me in that big gathering which they have for parents and teachers.
Okay.
Ved. It's called Ved.
Yes.
So I come for that also. But sometime we'll definitely meet. We can
Sure.
get my contact from.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah. Pranam.
Right.
Sanjay ji.
Namaste.
Pranam, Beri ji.
Namaste, Sanjay ji. Namaste.
I'm really, overwhelmed looking at and hearing your meticulous presentation. My name is Professor Sanjay Banerjee.
Yes.
And I have been working with Amrita School of Business here in Coimbatore, and the western part of Coimbatore in a village called Itimadai.
Okay.
And this is a youngest university, Deemed University, given the status in 2003. But it started with an engineering college here in Wilderness in 1994. And I have been here from 1996. And very recently, in Coimbatore itself, in another campus, we have started a school of architecture.
Uh-huh.
So my request to you, sir, is that it will be a wonderful opportunity for our school of architecture students to listen to you in a very practical way. And I think the most sustainable way is to do it online, like this one is happening. So I will talk to the people here,
What is the
and
what is the name of the college? Because
this,
I have come to Coimbatore. I have lectured in a college, a couple of colleges, and also for a zonal NASA where many colleges were present. So, which is this college?
this is Amrita University, Amrita
Amrita.
Vidyabhitham University.
Okay.
Mata Amitanande Mutt started this engineering college in 1994 at
Okay.
this place. Currently, we have 9 locations all over the country, and we have got 2 medical institutions. The one in Faridabad, inaugurated by Yama in 2022, is a
Okay.
very huge hospital complex. But first hospital is in Kochi. We have got two campuses in Kerala, one in Tamil Nadu, Coimbatore, 2 in Karnataka, Bangalore and Mysuru, 1 in Delhi, and no, Tamil Nadu we have got more campuses. There is the one in Nagercoil and other places also. So
Okay.
now we have lost
No,
count
sure.
of
We can work out some interaction with your students. I would like to share something with them.
yeah.
And
So
maybe if you could also connect the other colleges together, then it's better that more students can be involved.
yeah, so
Other colleges.
I will try to talk with the people who are in charge here, and we'll try to set up some kind of an online talk like this one that you have currently given, which is more than sufficient and inspiring everything. And then I will get back to you, and I'll get the contacts from Madan Kumar ji, and
Yes.
I'll give you. Uh, just a few minutes, few of the sustainability principles are actually applied here on our campus to such an extent that if a boundary wall is crossing a tree which is there exactly on the boundary, then our boundary wall goes round the tree instead of cutting the tree. And you will find those kinds of things. And most our buildings have got trees inside the buildings itself. So I was fascinated by that whole class 4 students telling that the tree is their best friend. Similarly, all our MBA students study in our building where the courtyard has a huge tree. It was up to about 10 feet high when it was replanted there, and it has gone up to about the 4th floor and into the sky now. So we also believe in these concepts, follow those things. Our entire water is recycled and used for our plantations and other things. We have got solars, etc., etc. But at the same time, unfortunately, the number of cars on the campus are increasing. The parking spaces are used. So it's a mixed kind of a result that we have achieved here. But anyway, we a little bit, but much can be done, and I think all of us can, hear a lot about you. In fact, we have the university has a school of sustainable future. The entire school is devoted to sustainability, and that is at Amritapuri. So we'll see. We'll figure out how best we can connect with all schools and see. But for the time being, at least for the Coimbatore campus alone, I can speak for. And we can try to organize a talk by you online because there's no movement here. It's only we are using the internet facilities.
Okay. Sure.
That we try to do, and I will get in touch with you and request your convenience and see our convenience and figure out how this can be done. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Ownership.
Thank you.
Raghu, yeah, please.
Namaste, Shirish Ji.
Namaste.
I switched on the monitor, but it's not working. It was wonderful. It was down to earth, practical, and possible sustainable living, which
Yes.
which you talk from your experience, and perhaps that is the why. That's why you'll be able to inspire more and more people, since people think that sustainable living means giving up everything.
Hmm.
Your way of explaining and your way of living is something to do with our Sant Jnaneshwarji.
Hmm.
You said about inverting the M from me to W.
Yes.
I mean, in fact, that is one of the most important spiritual tenets which we can
Yes.
have from our grand culture.
Yes.
See, what he says, in fact, these four children, as you know, the siblings of
Yes.
Jnaneshwar, they
Yes.
were persecuted by the society,
Yes. I
but
know.
instead of returning it with in kind, they converted or they metamorphized those emotions into compassion and love.
Yes. Yes. Very true.
How did it happen? It happened because they changed they inverted that me from that small me to we.
Yes.
And his whole concept was so much. And in fact, we were very much impressed by your presentation. And we too are, in a way, trying to live in a silent life. In fact, now that I'm 75, I don't have anything to prove.
My
And
age. My age.
no, advantage is that, but nothing to prove, but just to live. And when we live sustainable life, you feel that you have everything without doing much, because you are spending less energy on your needs, and probably lesser energy on your thinking, because nature helps you to become silent.
Yes.
So that silence works upon your life, and
Yes.
we definitely were impressed. And thank you so much for your wonderful talk. And
Thank you.
we do hope that we'll be able to interact with you more and more.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
So actually, again, coming back to all this, what Dhaneshwar's life and this thing, whatever, the basic attitude to life is very important. If that attitude is a holistic one, then because that then like that time Dhaneshwar didn't find those other people as something outside himself. They were part of his full world, and part of his fullness of life. So that fullness, if one experiences within oneself, then automatically desires will drop off, or dishonesty will drop off, and sustainability will happen.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Valliyappan sir.
Can't hear you.
Okay, now I am unmuted. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shirish ji, thank you for your presentation. And I am Valliyappan. I work for a IT company here. I am based out of Huzur, but I mean I am working for a company in Bangalore. Okay, so my question to you is, I mean, I saw your website. I think you are doing some fellowship for 10 students on a yearly basis.
Yes.
So my question to you is, okay, so I mean, you are, apart from doing things your own, you are also teaching to, say, at least 10 students in a year, and then helping them I mean, do their work, the architecture work sustainably, it seems. So my say, like, if I want to build a house and for the first time, okay, and if I go to any builder, as Madanji was saying, like, we are being told about the conventional way of building with all bricks, mortar and everything. Okay, so if I say them that, okay, I want to do it sustainably, I mean, based on my knowledge that I have from attending all these sessions and the news articles, etc. If I tell them that, okay, I want to build it sustainably, probably I am not getting that kind of a response, or I don't know whether to trust whatever that they are saying and then going ahead with it. So I would like to know, like, say, if say doing such kind of, say, architecture sustainably and then monitoring it in a reasonably commercial way. Is it so difficult? Because this I mean, not just architecture, even building contractors are not that much interested in doing or in constructing houses in a sustainable manner. I mean, I don't know, there is no push from government or some other, I don't know what is a loop there. So I would like to know, is it so difficult to do such kind of things, or is it taking more time for which people are not having that much patience to do it when they start their journey in this field? And also, say, based on whatever that I am hearing, and even like, I have seen some of the houses, one or two, I mean, in very remote places where this kind of a thing has been done. Even in Kendra, I have seen that they have done it, but they have mastered it by sending their own team to the people who have done it. They got some 10 or 20 people trained, and then they got it done. So how, I mean, how practical is it to build a house with incorporating all these sustainable features for a layman like me?
It is practical. I mean, you can do it, but as you say, the general trend in the society with most architects or most builders, most contractors, or even most clients is that they don't want that. They want quick something. They want something which is flashy. They want something which is long lasting. Whatever. So it is difficult to find the right this thing. Many times I have refused certain clients because when I talk to them, I can understand that the wavelength will not match. So I've been fortunate enough to choose clients myself. I mean, normally clients choose architects, but I have been fortunate to choose my clients. I mean, I take only those clients with whom I think I can work
Work with them. Yeah, yeah,
towards
yeah.
towards the common goals.
Right, right, right.
It is
Okay,
difficult. It is difficult. What you're saying is it is a problem.
okay.
Even with the present clients that I have, also sometimes there are this thing, but then we try to resolve.
Come to a conclusion. Yeah, okay, okay. Thank you.
Sonali,
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir, for your truly inspiring presentation. For me, I strongly believe that when we want to have a sustainable attitude, that means, and that is developed when we are connected to nature. And more, today's generation is getting disconnected from nature, where it's difficult for for us to make them understand what sustainability is, what is the meaning of having a sustainable attitude, what does all this mean. So with this belief, right now I'm working on my research, which focuses on understanding the role of school built environments for fostering nature connectedness in children, where I think that because today's children are going to be our future citizens, and probably with these future citizens we can have uh, a sustainable living. So
Actually, for your thesis, you should, for this research, you should read a book called Last Child in the Woods,
yes, yes,
where he talks about NDD, nature deficit disorder.
nature deficit disorder,
So that
yes.
may be useful for you.
Yes, yes, I have read that, and like lot of concepts I have gathered, and probably I can come up with recommendations. So for the schools, to connect children to nature, because in urban areas we find that the schools have nothing. It's just a building. So how are we going to develop this sustainable attitude in children? And as earlier Mr. Veliappan was saying, that it's difficult to make people understand this. So without that attitude, it's really difficult. So developing that attitude from the root itself becomes very important for a sustainable future for the nation, country, or the nation in overall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, even in urban school, there can be ways of bringing kids closer to their understanding of nature,
Yes.
bringing them more aware of nature, making them more aware of nature. It is
Yes.
possible. I even through small nooks and corners in the building, or through the sky that is experienced through, from
Yes.
inside,
Yeah.
or through the windowsills. Windowsills could have plants also and things like that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
nature is
So
not only plants. Nature is so many things. So
yes.
even in that school, you could even take them out for treks or hikes or gatherings in the open. The children could be taken out sometimes, or even within the school classrooms, you could show them uh, films by Richard Attenborough about which talk about the interconnectedness of life and of this nature, things like that. So you can bring this about in many different ways. Of course, there are limitations. Instead, like it can't be a Shanti Niketan immediately, because you don't have that much land and all.
Yeah. Because it was a very interesting journey. Like I'm almost at the verge of finishing my research.
Where did you study?
Talking, I'm doing at Manipal School of Architecture and
No, but
Planning,
where did
Manipal.
you do your architecture?
So I'm a student of architect Maya Vaidya, MIT Aurangabad.
Actually, you are from
Yes,
Aurangabad.
yes, yes. Yeah. So it's very interesting to know what our children say,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and under and giving them what they want is, I feel, what as an architect we are supposed to do.
Mm. Yes.
That's going to be more meaningful.
Yes.
And your projects have really been an inspiration throughout my journey of architecture.
Were you in Aurangabad where they had an exhibition of my works there?
No, sir, no.
You're not.
I'm from the batch 94 to 99.
This was in beginning of 2000.
Mhm. So I had shifted to Hyderabad that time.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Sir,
Thank you, sir.
yeah. I am Madan back online, sir.
Yes.
This is a request from my end. We are working with the poor communities. Basically, we intend to construct houses for them through the government collaboration in terms of entitlements being received by them within the same cost limits. But government has its own norms of having a plan which has been given and structure to be done. That is one operational constraint. Second, we also have people who have land but they are not entitled to. And building their capacities for understanding this perspective, probably your inputs could go a long way, sir. Can you give us some tips on this as to how to make it possible to convince them or build the capacities to understand it and see the possibility of doing it at a lesser cost? These are the three things, sir.
Possibilities of doing at lesser cost are there, will be there, can be there. But convincing the government is a different ball game. So, if you know some key persons and whom you could influence or whom you could talk to, it can help. Or other cases, if you can show them something which you feel is a good example of housing for the poor, and if they are convinced, that can help maybe.
Recently, we have our work has been acknowledged by the Switch Asia group of our work at Punjuti, Melur block, where which we could do the work at about 954 rupees per square
Yes,
feet,
you
using
mentioned
the
that.
Larry Becker technology of stub footing and filler slab and rat trap bond. These are
Yes.
the three things which we used as such.
Yes.
But at miles to go, sir, in terms of changing the mindset and also working with poor who see the social status in terms of their own growth with
Where, where, is,
housing as a
where is this?
yeah.
Where is this project?
Basically, at Madurai, sir, in Tamil
Madurai.
Nadu, basically, I work for the Dan Foundation. We work in 14 states, actually. where in which we want to now. Odisha government also has come forward for taking up in a bigger way for doing it. But yet we are not in a position to root our perspective in terms of these technologies or making it, contextualizing it to their own community needs.
Please send
So
me
that
some
we
more.
are.
Please send me some more information about it.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. I'll
If
just
I,
send a case study which you have done, which was well received. I'll send it, sir.
and if
We
I can
look
be of
forward for
help,
your guidance, sir.
yes.
Yeah,
If I
please, sir.
can be of
Please, sir.
help
Please.
anywhere, I'll see. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Anybody else is there? Otherwise, we'll close.
Okay. Acha. Purna is here. Huh? My daughter in New Zealand was also watching, I guess. She's,
Greetings, everyone. Hi, sir.
by the way, Mr. Waliappan, Shahid, and Isha, who have joined, were one of my fellows during the fellowship. The fellowship is called Introspection and Expressions. And I think Shahid wants to say something. Yes. Okay. Yes, Shahid.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, sir. It was good to hear you after 6 months, I think.
Yes. Yes.
And thank you so much for the introspection and expression fellowship. It has changed our lives. I don't want to brag about it, but to a bit, I have changed. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome. Thank you.